In efforts to appease a certain base of new fans, Nintendo is risking a big mistake that could upset the large majority of already existing fans. We're going to dive into exactly what the heck is going on here and why I find it very frustrating. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. I don't like to see Nintendo do things that undermine the awesomeness of their gameplay. They got one thing going for them, better than everybody else. It's not the graphics, it's not the power, it's the gameplay. Undermining gameplay, reducing and removing feels wrong. And they're doing it for an upcoming title, one that I'm insanely excited for, but this seems like the sort of small little nitpicky feature that actually could end up being a big mistake for fans like you and I. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. We'll kick it off with a couple quick news bits, and then we're straight into Nintendo's perplexing decision. There's Mario Oreos. The fun thing about this is not that they release on July 10th, not that you can pre-order them now, not that you can eat Mario's face, but that if you find all 16 Super Mario Oreo cookies, you save the kingdom. It's very, very strange. It says Princess Peach is missing and Bowser is trying to take over a castle. Will you join us and find the right Oreo cookies to help Mario and the other heroes save the kingdom? So I want to know, what happens when you find all 16 Oreos? If you swallow them all, do you turn into Princess Peach? If you put them all next to each other, melt them into a pot, do they become one big ooey gooey sugary mess of Peach? I don't know. There's Mario, Luigi, Toad, Yoshi, Fireflower, Super Mushroom Coin, Superstar, Bowser Jr., Goomba Boo, no Peach, Blooper, Koopa Troopa, Piranha Plant, and Spiny. 16 different Oreos with all sorts of epic designs, but no Peach. Yet find all 16 and you save the kingdom. I really want to know if there's a reward. There isn't. But why are they advertising it this way? What happens if you get all 16? Okay, well, I know you'll get way more than 16 things transferring over from Switch to Switch 2 because the latest Q&A for investors and Nintendo's head honchos has been published by Nintendo. And one of the first takeaways we find is that Furukawa confirms the exact Nintendo account that you have today will carry over to Nintendo Switch 2 next, whatever their next console is. He even said their next console, so they're talking about it. Nintendo acknowledges there's a next console. We aren't stuck with this graphical capability forever. But while you may think, okay, ho-hum, what's interesting to point out here is that Nintendo has an opportunity to do something better than just about anybody else. In the modern era, backwards compatibility has become a big sticking point as we transition from one console to another. And while most people are sort of totally fine with it, if we look back, there were big to-dos over companies like Microsoft with Xbox not having a full list of 360 games to play on Xbox One. They would update and add to the list over time, but all of your discs didn't just immediately work. That's not how it went. Nintendo has an opportunity to say that all Switch cartridges will work on the next console, and to truly be the best in the business at converting one generation to the next. Nintendo has talked about they really want to make this transition seamless and better than before. They've talked about how they've struggled with generational turnover and how oftentimes it hasn't treated them kindly. They are in a perfect spot right now, right? They're sitting on DK's hoard of bananas. Even though DK isn't on Switch, let's just pretend he's guarding this hoard of bananas. And Nintendo, by providing perfect Nintendo Switch Online compatibility, perfect Nintendo account compatibility, and perfect eShop and perfect cartridge compatibility, can actually leverage this transition into a huge win for themselves, not just for the upgraded Switch that'll be exciting for new power, but also because it would be the smoothest, easiest for fans that invested so darn much. Can you imagine if this is the NES era and like you're so excited for the Super Nintendo? You're going to line up at KB Toys. You're going to line up at Funko Land and none of your NES carts work. Your copy of Felix the Cat, Pro Wrestling, the McDonald's Brothers, none of those games work. They don't fit. And then you move forward and you're in the Xbox era and like, okay, you have all these great 360 games and Xbox One comes out, but they've made a weird list, like Santa's naughty and nice, and some games are naughty and some are nice. It's quite awesome that Nintendo returning to cartridges for their home console this generation could in fact be the ones that carry everything over perfectly. We don't need notches. We don't need anything extra. Let these cartridges live and let them work on the next system. Let me know if complete and utter total 100% backwards compatibility and carryover compatibility is something that would seem like a big win to you? Would that make you easily, without a doubt, without question, trade in, sell, and upgrade to the new Switch? I think there's no reason to hold on to the Switch outside of nostalgia and all the memories we've made and all those cool colorways. But really, you could sell it if they do have complete backwards compatibility, and I think they will. I'm betting that they absolutely will go this route, and I think it's super smart. What's less smart is what Nintendo is doing to their next big upcoming game. Now, they have a bit of a difficulty here, right? Pikmin has always reviewed 87 or higher. Their Metacritic is killer. Like, this series should crush for Nintendo. But it finds itself in a Metroid sort of mess where the sales are not reflective of the quality of the game. And part of this is due to a very cutesy art style spun up together with a very complicated gameplay style. It's a pressure cooker of a title, and if anybody's dove back into Pikmin 1 or 2 or watched newcomers try out these titles that are now available on the eShop, you know that day becomes night way faster than in the real world, and that means your Pikmin go poof. You don't have a lot of opportunity to backtrack, to try again, to redo, to correct a mistake. You gotta just be on your game. The day ticks and you want to go. But Pikmin 4 is doing things differently. Pikmin 4 is trying to be the biggest, best Pikmin of all, and everything they've shown us proves that they're on the right track. Until the previews came out today. Now, the previews are glowing, don't get me wrong, but there's something specific within that has me very concerned. Because Nintendo is no stranger to easy modes, right? They love to throw in the assist mode, where your little sibling or your significant other, or your grandma or your dog can help you shoot guys in Mario Galaxy, or add some Bowser Jr. assist in Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. They've got that assist block in the new Super Mario Bros. Game, so when you die, they're like, hey, grab the golden Tanuki leaf and you can be immortal. Nintendo loves to make their games offer a simpler solution if you so choose, but Pikmin 4 isn't offering that choice, at least not based on the previews. No, Pikmin 4 will have a rewind button like this is some sort of kart racer and we're going along the track and want to adjust our racing line. But see, the brilliance of Pikmin is that you have to think on your toes, that you have to move with speed, that you have to challenge your brain and your hands to go faster than you thought possible. And there's such a satisfaction once you get it right. I know people are overwhelmed and it seems daunting and they're worried by it, but once you get in, look, at the end of the day, Pikmin is still a Nintendo game. This isn't freaking pre-calculus. This is a Nintendo game and you can grab it and master it pretty well. But Pikmin 4 allows you to move the onion for more easy access to the levels. Pikmin 4 allows you to upgrade your Ochi and upgrade your character, which in theory sounds really great and is a positive feature, but now in conjunction with this idea that you can rewind at any moment, I feel like it's very, very dumb. I wish this was an optional feature. I wish this was an easy mode. See, when you turn on like the assist block, a lot of times in the Mario titles, it would not save your score. There was a punishment for it. Or at least it was something you had to consciously activate. So as I sat there and died on a certain level over and over, it was like, no, I want to beat this. I want the satisfaction. I want to do it. I have to opt into the easy. It's really going to be difficult when there's no opt-in. When it's just left trigger to rewind. Oops, you accidentally threw your ice Pikmin into a burning lava flow. Didn't mean to do that. Rewind. And here's the real kicker. Unlike other games that implement a rewind mechanic with a limited number of uses, the rewind in Pikmin 4 is infinite. You can rewind as often and as many times as you want without any consequence or drawback, meaning this game can be dialed in so that you never make a mistake. Actually, oops, you do, you just undo it over and over again, diluting this to a retry fest without any of the punishment, without any sort of punishment, and thereby, in a way, without any sort of true satisfaction or accomplishment. They also say that aiming the Pikmin is easier than ever. Targeting is easier than ever, and that's a change that I'm more than happy to welcome. Making the gameplay more seamless, making the gameplay work better, totally cool. But making things much more accessible by allowing a rewind should in theory bring in more fans, but I worry that's not going to be a big item when talking about this game's reviews or back of the box quotes or Walmart end caps. I don't think you can rewind will end up as a tagline for any tentpole coverage, I think it'll be there. So I don't think it's going to be something that actually welcomes in new players. I think it's something that will reduce the enjoyment for current players. Now, I wish Pikmin would be big, as big as it possibly can be. I think the glow Pikmin and the caves, the night missions, all of the home base stuff, the Dandori battles, the co-op, the competitiveness, it's all building to be the best Pikmin package ever. But I do feel like this rewind mechanic is a misstep. If there was an easy mode that you could select at the start of the game for a newcomer, a first-time player, perfect to have that in there. Racing games do a great job of letting you kind of customize the difficulty to how you see fit. You can go with a bunch of rewinds, you can go with no rewinds, you can go with the racing line, you can go with just, hey, you see the course and hopefully one day make it into your own Gran Turismo movie. But Pikmin 4 is eschewing all of that and just putting it as a feature. Is it a cool feature? In theory, yes. This game is doing so many nice new things. It's using the Unreal Engine, which hasn't been used except for Yoshi's Crafted World. This is a really, really cool game that has a ton of promise and is releasing in a month where there really isn't much of anything, and given the Switch install base, has a chance to be the biggest yet. Now, I'm going to be real straight with you. I don't think the rewind feature is going to impact sales or review scores or enjoyment dramatically. But there's something about knowing I can rewind at any time, and it's not going to hurt my score. And it's not an easy mode. It's the way the developers intended for me to play. It makes it that much harder for me to not use it. Do you ever feel that way? If something's opt-in, if it's a menu change, if it's easy mode, I'm like, no, I can do this. I can beat this. I can figure it out. I'll sit there and I'll struggle my way through to prove that, hey, I can complete this. I can accomplish that. It's something I learned back in the NES era before there were all these assists. It's like, hey, you can get a big satisfaction out of beating something. And games have tried to massage that over the last few decades by offering waypoints and follow the leader and all sorts of hints and tips and tricks and different modes and adjustable sliders, and all that's fine and dandy. But when you put something into Pikmin 4 that allows you to play perfectly without consequence, I feel like it's possibly robbing players of some of the purest enjoyment of the game. Now, that may sound contradictory. How does Pikmin create enjoyment from you losing, from Pikmin dying, from you having a mistake? Well, it's because it encourages you to play carefully. It encourages you to play smartly. It encourages you to divide and conquer with your 3 different Pikmin groups. It encourages you to feel relieved when you make it through a day without a single loss. And it sure as heck feels rewarding when you beat a level and you know you beat it the best you possibly could. There is a certain gratification to having a little bit of loss in the game and a little bit of gain. It makes the experience more fruitful. It makes the experience more well-rounded. And now we're all going to be playing perfect Pikmin, and I wonder if the dumbing down of this idea of Pikmin being a challenging game in order to appeal to a wider audience is going to have the intended effect. For me, it will not ruin the experience. I'm still all in on Pikmin 4, but I will find it to be a bit cumbersome, a bit annoying, and I will try not to use it. Yet knowing it's just a trigger pull away doesn't feel good. Am I crazy? Do you agree that when it's baked into the game this organically, it just feels like, well, they're encouraging you to use it? Like maybe the game is going to be made harder in some situations because they want you to rewind? Trial and error is the name of the game in the Pikmin series. You try and you err. But now this is just try and then succeed? Try, untry, retry, untry, retry, untry, retry, untry, untry, retry, win. There's a world where Pikmin 4 becomes effortless because you can expect perfection. In fact, you can create perfection rather than having to operate on your toes. I understand that the clock ticking is a daunting figure for many players, or at least some, but I also know that Pikmin faithful have come to find a huge reward in the way this game was made. I trust Miyamoto more than I trust myself. I hope this all works out, but it does feel odd that we're dumbing down one of Nintendo's more complicated games, and they don't have too many of them. I appreciate accessibility, but I feel like if it was just optional, we'd be in such a much better state. The fact that it, according to previews, is just baked into the game, always there, always ready to go, never running out, just kind of stinks. Even if they wanted to give us 1 use, 2 uses per level, I don't know, reduce your score, but it sounds like it's just there. This is Pikmin for everyone. Not terribly a bad thing, but at the same time, I don't know that it needed it, and I don't really know if it's going to enhance sales, exposure, or audience all that much at all. Let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. I'd love to hear from you. The demo is coming out in just a couple days, and we'll have a chance to see for ourselves what rewinding Pikmin is like, and if it sullies the experience in any significant way. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.